Hello, all you Global Flows junkies. My name is Patrick. I'm your host, and today is February 22nd, 2024. Here are your top articles for this week. Here at Global Flows, we study and report on the global flows of money, finance, people, supply chain, goods, and money. I think I said money twice. That's cool. I hope you like these articles, and here we go. All right, we're going to start with my man, Patrick Carey, P-Funk, sent me a request. And I do take requests, so get your requests in if you want to hear about a certain topic. This one is about China and foreign direct investment, FDI, and it's plummeting like crazy. Like a lot of things in China right now, plummet is the key word. Stock market, real estate market, and foreign direct investment because, well, maybe several reasons, and we'll look at why. His question is, what would be the falling direct investment in China, and what are some of the subsequent impacts that might be? How does this put pressure on other sectors such as banking, real estate, and manufacturing? So let's look at that. Here are a couple articles. FDI falls in China to 30-year lows. China should not underestimate the impact of inward FDI plunge. So not good news. Potential impacts. What essentially that means is foreign companies investing in China, either in the China stock market or building factories, like areas like Suzhou. Lots of foreign companies around the world build factories, send their expats over, employ Chinese people. So they create a complete infrastructure, and there's been a slow but steady decline. So what are the potential impacts for China? Slower economic growth. Been a significant driver in China's economic growth for decades. So with the decrease, you're going to have slower economic growth with less foreign companies coming in. Reduce innovation and competitiveness. I saw this in many industries when I lived in China: hotels, hospitality, restaurants. With foreign influence becomes even higher standards. So without that, there's a reduce of innovation, job losses, of course, in China because there aren't as many companies, and a weaker currency in China. Outflows of foreign capital put downward pressure on the Chinese yuan. External impacts: shifting global investment patterns, obviously outside of China to other countries. Geopolitical tensions, that's self-described there. Particularly the U.S., some view it as a sign of waning confidence in China's economic and political stability, and disruptions in global supply chain, which that seems to be the common denominator of all these happenings. For banking, you could worry about loan defaults, reduced demand for loans, and currency fluctuations, all of which are pretty evident because with less FDI, there is less investment and less money churn. How about the real estate market? Lower demand, reduced FDI can hinder economic growth, especially certainly in the factory space, the business and commercial. That's the word I was looking for, commercial space. Over investment concerns. The real estate sector in China has been a major driver for economic growth, but also carries concern over investment. And certainly we're dealing with that now. The impact on REITs. Lower rental income from commercial properties due to decreased demand could affect the performance of REITs in China. So that's about FDI, with manufacturing, job losses, disruption in supply chains, and shifting production bases to other areas. That's happening big time to Vietnam, to Mexico, to Malaysia, Indonesia, even Thailand, Cambodia. So you see like a widening, spreading, decreased risk of just being in China. Okay, here's an article: preparing for war, social unrest, or a new pandemic. Chinese companies are raising militias like it's the 1970s. This is a bit of a warning, and in lieu of a lot of the China-based decline and concerns about demographics and the things that we talk about on the show, certainly some people speculate that China could be, like, one of the ways for China to get out of this really sticky situation is to amp up military. with potentially the Belt and Road Initiative and a lot of the foreign investment that they've made in Africa and Western China, could be favorable for them in the long run. But here's a couple of items from that article. Chinese companies, including state-owned and private firms like Yili Group, are establishing militias. Even private firms are. That's interesting. Known as the People's Armed Forces Department. The creation of corporate militias reflects concern over political tensions, domestic social unrest. The resurgent aligns with military modernization and readiness goals. It mentions Taiwan. Okay, that's something we'll keep an eye on. Finally, Europe is nervous about a potential Trump win. China sees an opportunity. Okay, well, here we are in February and November's coming, and I'm sure there's a lot of changes and a lot of interesting stories that are going to develop of the election in the U.S. And it could be something we look forward to because it's kind of interesting. It could be something that we dread because, wow, who wants to watch Trump and Biden proceed? There's some third-party candidates that could be interesting. But anyway, here's the article. China's top diplomat Wang Yi at the Munich Security Conference emphasized China's role as a consistent and stable force amid European concerns over the potential return of Donald Trump. Okay. European apprehensions about China's close ties with Russia, especially in light of the ongoing war in Ukraine, challenge Beijing's efforts to repair and enhance relations with the EU. Possibility of Trump's re-election has raised concerns in Europe about the reliability of the U.S. as a partner, potentially offering China as an opportunity to present itself as more stable and predictable ally. Well, my personal stance is China and the U.S., we're kind of frenemies in a way, but we do really need each other. And it would be my hope that we'd be able to continue doing, trade and have an opening dialogue. However, I certainly know in China right now with the current administration over there with Xi, they've basically controlled a lot of information that gets to Xi. And even when we have U.S. diplomats go to China, normally they're not even able to see Xi. So I know kind of Blinken and a couple of other administration members went to China and didn't get very far. So I do hope the relations do well, and we have a lot riding on those relationships with China. So, okay, that's it. Global Flows. Thank you, Pat Carey. And send in your questions if you want me to address anything. This is Global Flows. I'm signing off. If you know anybody who might be interested in this YouTube channel or podcast, then please pass it on. Thank you.